We visited Monkey Jungle in Miami, Florida on May the 22nd, 2021. If you would like to get notices when I post again, be sure to subscribe right here. Just click on that button. This is the 30 acres that this facility covers. It was established in 1933 by Joseph Dumond to study monkeys. It's called a primatorium because it mainly concentrates on primates, and I would rate it as a small 5 since it does concentrate on just one type of animal. And then we arrive at Monkey Jungle, a place where the humans are kept in cages. This is an area of 10 acres that is mainly planted in rainforest plants and is owned by the Dumond family, who still run it today.
A little over a year. You may not know this, the monkeys can get COVID. So the monkeys getting COVID changes the game for us. If you've got a gator park, open the doors, you've got nothing to worry about. But if you've got primates, it's a different ballgame. So our initial plan was to try to just shields up, put up the walls, and ride this thing out. But life waits for no one. Bills pile up, responsibilities are constant. Eventually we had to open the door. So this tour is our best attempt at generating some revenue and giving you guys a great guest experience while also keeping the animals safe, keeping you safe, and keeping
All right, now with that being said, I will start us off by saying that there are a lot of these guys that you see before you in our park, roughly around 140 of them to be exact, and they're spread out over about 7 acres. Now, while I have a good turnout at the moment, I do have to say that not a single one of these guys is tamed or trained in any way, so I have no control over who all or how many show up. What I do every time for these is I ring this triangle. And what that does is it serves as a food bell for them. They hear that, they know I'm going to be throwing out all kinds of yummy fruits and vegetables that they enjoy. So what I'm going to do really quick is give that a ring, and then we can get started. For you at the moment, they have a couple of different names. Now their first name is going to be the Java macaque. Now they get that name due to where they originate, which is going to be a small island off the coast of Southeast Asia called the island of Java. Now they have another name, and that's going to be the crab-eating macaque. I like to think that that one's a little more obvious. Now they get that name because of in the wild they do eat a lot of crabs and shrimp as part of their natural diet. Now a question I'll usually get pretty quickly right away is, well, if they love crabs and shrimp and seafood so much, why don't you guys feed them that? Well, the reason for that is because these guys, while they are omnivorous, which means they can eat and process anything, just like we can, but their hard preference is always going to be a more vegetarian or vegan style diet consisting of fruits and vegetables. These guys have been pushed to instinctively look for sea life out of necessity, because the islands and the areas that they inhabit have become very, very urbanized. They've become very heavily deforested, and they've also become very overly populated with these types of monkeys. So competition for what few fruits and veggies in their natural areas are left is very, very fierce. So that pushed them to adapt and learn how to fish, learn how to swim to the bottoms of the floor, sorry, I stumble over my words every once in a while. Please forgive me. But yes, it's forced them to swim and go for the seafood and the things like that. It's also pushed them into doing things like going after birds and their nests for their eggs, and has even pushed them so far as to figure out how to just outright steal. No hamburger inside of fries is safe where these guys live. Now these guys were originally brought here a very long time ago, roughly 86 years ago to be exact. See, our park's founder, Joseph Dumond, what he really wanted to do was he wanted to study these guys. What he really didn't want to do was go move to and live in Southeast Asia to do it. So he had the good idea of back then, he bought a nice large plot of land here in Florida, which used to be incredibly cheap. I believe the exact number was somewhere around like $500. Can you imagine? And so he bought that, and then he imported 6 of these guys here from their natural habitat. to the hammock that resides here, which is very, very similar. And what he wanted to study specifically about these guys was their social structure. But a fun thing to note as well is that now every single one of these Javas that you guys see today is a descendant of that original 6 released here more than 86 years ago. I promise nobody will hear banjos. Now, again, what he wanted to study specifically was their social structure, how they interact with each other and kind of take care of each other. And what he found is that social structure is based off of what's called a dominance hierarchy, or a pecking order, if that makes a little more sense. After is, well, how do these guys get their rank? Actually, I'm going to point this out really quick. This guy, at the moment, what he's doing by climbing up that tree and shaking it is he's challenging me. See, in their world, how high up you are and how much noise you can make is a very large display of dominance, and it's something that matters a lot to them. So he keeps looking at me and keeps shaking that tree because I'm making a lot of noise. Well, unfortunately for him, usually the guy with the triangle and a microphone's a lot louder. So I know that's a big blow to the ego, but here's a peanut about it. So, can you catch it? I know you see it. Oh, come on, man. Oh, and shake it. All right. Yeah, he just told me to get that weak stuff out of here. No 3-pointer for me today. He's making a very large show of himself, wouldn't you say, Carlos?
Very much so.
All right. So I get the question a lot. How do these guys get their rank? If this ranking structure is so important, well, how do they get into it? Well, the largest and most important factor that I think most of us can find true in life in general as to how they get their rank is who their mom is. The farthest they go in life is usually immediately determined by their mother. The higher the ranking female they're born to, the higher or lower ranking they will be initially in the troop. But they are also capable of changing their rank later in life. That comes to the next area of how that's going to happen. Well, these guys are young and they're roughhousing around and playing and grooming with all of their friends. They forge very, very, very strong bonds, very, very strong senses of family and friendship. And that's going to aid them a lot in later life, because a lot of times as the males of these guys get older and the testosterone starts flowing, they decide, hey, I'm tired of being in last place. I want more. I want more food. I want more rights. I want more of the females. I want more of everything. So I want to go fight the leader for what he has. But the problem with that is not only does that guy have to be strong enough to be able to fight the leader that's gotten his first choice of food for the last 10 years, but he also has to be able to fight his friends, because that leader's going to come in with monkeys 2 through 5 at his side to fight whoever's challenging him. So throughout these guys' young lives, they're making those friendships to be able to have a squad and a little army to go take with them to go make a coup one day. Now, one of the behaviors that they do a lot that cements those bonds early on is something people are very familiar with monkeys. That's going to be the behavior called grooming, where you see them picking over each other. Now, if they find a bug on each other, they're always more than happy to help each other out by picking it off and eating it. What they're actually looking for are little particles of dandruff that these guys make a lot of because their skin gets very dry. Well then, as these guys run and jump and play and fight and sweat, that sweat absorbs into that dandruff and makes it very salty. Well, the next logical step for these guys is I'm going to pick it off and eat it like a really gross potato chip. He wants your job.
Unit 4, Unit 2.
There we go. Oh, come on. And she finds it.
Ready to give Diana and Lark Fighter full access?
Now that little lady that you guys just saw swim there is the one that usually swims for me the absolute most. Reason being for that is she's very, very pregnant right now, and those eggs are the most valuable thing in the world to them while they're pregnant. Much like human beings, these guys have very similar kinds of pregnancies. They have very long gestation periods, they only carry one young at a time, and the process is incredibly taxing on their bodies. So to ensure as healthy of a pregnancy and a birth as they can, they strive to obtain as much fat, as much calcium, and as much protein.
Now it's time to go and interact with the animals some by feeding them. The monkeys sit on top of the cage we're in, and there's a chain that goes down to a little pan. You put the food in the pan and the monkeys pull the food up. Deborah's not fast enough, and they start pulling up even before she puts her food in. They're ready to eat. One of them seems to be saying, "That's not enough, put more." And now we head over to spend some time with the reptiles. You could call this fishing for turtles. Last, we head to the most important thing we're going to be doing today, into the rainforest jungle, where we'll have actual contact with several of the monkeys. There will be both squirrel monkeys here and also capuchin monkeys. The squirrel monkeys show up first. The capuchin monkeys are larger than the squirrel monkeys, shyer, and tend to run off with their food. This is the end of this video.